Well, fun I ain't got a motor in that Honda. My Anaconda.
Your Anaconda?
Help me, Rhonda. No, you obviously... Wow, I have two people who don't know the song.
No,
That's
I don't.
Great.
No, I don't.
That's Sir Mix-a-Lot's Big Butts?
Of course I know the Big Butts song. I just know all the lyrics.
No, I don't either.
That was 92, I think?
How could you not know that? I mean,
Sir
it's
Mix-a-Lot. I just don't know all the lyrics. My Anaconda. Yeah,
you want to know how I know all the words?
Because you listen to it excessively?
Not only did I listen to it excessively, I listened to it in the club excessively when I was drunk, singing it at the top of my lungs.
Seeing all the titties.
Singing it at the top of my lungs.
All the tits and ass out there. Yeah, that sounds a typical...
No, not strip club. I mean, literally, the regular club. Like
dance club. I would pay money to see Jeff dance. I really would.
There have been women who have paid to see Jeff dance.
I mean, with your clothes on, not with your clothes off.
Yes. Yes, that actually happened.
Why do I not believe this? Of course I believe this.
That actually happened in college. I was hanging out. Actually, that happened at a strip club. That happened at a strip club.
Shit. Why did you go to college with me? You sound like you were a lot of fun, man.
I spent way too much money in strip clubs in college. That's all I can say to that.
I mean, all the time I've ever spent in school and everything, I was surrounded by knobs. It was just like, oh, I don't do that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I was surrounded by them too, Ivan. I just sat there and said, well, that's nice. I'm going anyway.
Yeah, pretty much my situation too. Like, okay, you sit there and you engage in that. Thank you.
I mean, let me put it this way: I went to a conservative Methodist university, and I was the only Jewish student on campus. Yeah, and trust me, they already had thoughts about me. Going to a strip club was not going to matter at all to any. And my favorite is I would sit there and it was funny because there were certain girls or women at the time, it was funny, but give me crap about it. I'm like, let me ask you a question. Am I single? Yes. What's the problem?
Yeah. Wow.
What's the problem? I said, here's the real question. Here's the thing. I've talked to guys who are going and they got girlfriends. If I had a girlfriend, I probably wouldn't go. Unless she wanted to come with me, that's an entirely different story. In which case, I know some guys who had girlfriends like that. That was a lot of fun. That was a blast. I will tell you that right now.
But would she watch the girls, or would she watch the guys watching the girls?
So there's two answers. There's two answers to that question. It depends on if it was just girls, or if there was a girls and a guys thing. Now, because one of the clubs on Saturday night used to do where they would bring in the guy strippers, and all I'm going to say is, after watching the women with the guy strippers, all I'm going to say is, I swear, I walked up to a bouncer and I'm like, are you going to do anything about that? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, let me ask you a question. If I did that to one of the strippers, yeah, I'd kick your ass. Well, okay, that don't make no sense.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the women patrons can crawl all over the male strippers.
Forget crawl.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff your hand in the Speedo and
grab their junk.
Just grab your junk, man. Go right up the cooler and hold their pants down and
seriously.
But if a dude pulled a stripper's bikini top down,
yeah, then my knuckles would be.
He'd get curb.
Well, no. Well, in fairness, pulling a stripper's bikini top down isn't usually the problem. Now, me sitting there, cupping them and playing with them and using my mouth on them, yeah, that will get me in a lot of trouble. Me putting my hand down between their legs,
stuff, yeah,
that's a problem.
In the wonderful land of Bikini Bottom.
Yes, and it is a wonderful land usually. Unless it smells like fish. Then it doesn't, not such a wonderful land.
That's the south side Bikini Bottom.
No, that's not just the south side Bikini Bottom. Oh my god. There have been a few times where you're like, what the fuck? Somebody got some Lysol or something. Seriously, it's like, hello, holy shit.
So we can disinfect later. We've already started. Welcome everyone to Square Round Table Podcast, episode 109er, and we are here once again for your listening entertainment. And with me is Ivan.
Yay! And of course Jeff.
Howdy. So to answer your question, Ivan, yes. What? So there was two sides to that. Yes, if the girl, there were times where there was the male strippers and the female strippers because there was one club that did that. But I will tell you, no, there were a couple of occasions where there were a couple guys I knew who used to bring their girlfriends and it was only women. I'll tell you right now, you want to be the most popular table in the entire strip club?
Mm-hmm.
Bring a girl.
There you go.
Bring a girl. They all want to hang out with her.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. And the hottest ones.
Oh, yeah.
All the hottest ones.
Yeah.
And the best is, I laughed because I got a dance and she got a dance. And I swear to God, I'm getting a dance from the one. And I'm looking at her dance because, no offense, they don't care if you do. If get girl on girl, they don't even care what the hell happens. And I swear to God, I was just like, and she's like, it was funny. My dancer was like, over here. I'm like, yeah, over there. So she kind of looked, actually she looked, she was like, okay, you have a point. That's pretty freaking hot. I said, yeah.
Well, and that is why it is such an allure when it comes to that kind of thing.
But to answer your question, yes, that was the one time I got paid to dance. The one time I got paid to dance for a woman was late night at a strip club in Indy, and it was one I went to on a regular basis. And
Indiana sure has a reputation.
In the 90s, Indianapolis was a huge strip club town. They had a lot of clubs, and the bang for I'm using the wrong term. There was a lot of clubs. I mean, and women were, because keep in mind, in the 90s, money was good. I mean, the money was phenomenal.
Yeah, the economy was pretty good in the 90s.
Was good in the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, there were women at these clubs that I swear to God, they could have been in magazines and stuff. I mean, and we're talking Indiana. We're not talking California. We're talking about Indianapolis.
And this was pre-internet too, so.
Well, yeah, that's around near the beginning.
The upstart of it, yeah.
Yeah. But there was one that I knew on a regular basis, and she was gorgeous, and it was really funny. It was like 2 a.m, and we're hanging out in the VIP, and she's like, God, I'm really so tired. And she's like, I said, oh, well, I could dance for you. And she kind of laughed, and she's like, I'm like, no, seriously, you want me to dance for you? And she's like, oh yeah, okay. So I started dancing for her.
There you go.
I started dancing for her, and I started doing my thing. And it was really funny because I'm dancing, and the music part is there's other women in the VIP room. Okay, there's other dancers in the VIP room, and all of a sudden they're watching this and they're dying of laughter. And it kind of gets out that a couple girls come in there, and all of a sudden they're throwing dollars at me. They're throwing dollars in.
There's a big, beautiful man out there doing his groovy thing. Woo-hoo!
Oh no! The person who I was getting to dance from is dying of laughter because she's like, okay, go for the broomski. I'm like, I don't think I'm allowed to do that in here, am I? I mean, I'm the guy. I don't think I can do that. Can I? Anyway, it was like.
What I would have paid to see that, man.
Oh no! What you really would have paid for? Okay, so this is the day that Jeff embarrasses himself with every story known to mankind. The weekend of my 21st birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to start here, which is my God bless his soul, miss him totally. My buddy Fred takes me out to one of the clubs in Indianapolis. I drank six tall boys in a bucket in like 15 minutes.
Oh my God!
Maybe 20, but I'm blitzed.
Yeah.
Okay, I am totally blitzed, and the headliner comes out, and she's looking for a volunteer to go on stage, and I'm like, oh me, and they won't, and instead they pick my buddy Fred, and I'm like pissed. I'm like, I wouldn't even say, I'm like, dude, it's my 21st birthday, come on. And it was funny, because apparently her manager was like sitting right where I was. She's like, you didn't want to do that. I go, what do you mean? It's my 21st birthday. It would have been awesome. She's like, trust me, you don't want to do that. I'm like, how do you know? She's like, I'm her manager. Just watch. Like, what could possibly happen? So he lays flat down on the stage. She goes to the back. She comes back with a boa constrictor.
I knew it.
She comes back with a boa constrictor. Now I'm dying. I'm dying so much. I fell backward out of the chair. I'm dying out. And I can't crawl back. I'm trying to crawl back up to watch this. She stuffs the boa constrictor down his pants. And the best part is, so my buddy Fred eventually he opens his eyes. And he has this look on his face like, oh, look, it's a steak. I swear to God. I was so the reason I tell this story is fast forward to the next night. The next night, I'm still I'm not totally out of it, but I am quite heavily buzzed. And I'm with some other friends of mine who came down from the Chicago area. And we're at an entirely different club. The headliner's there. And the headliner's some woman named Bunny Glamazon. This woman in
I think
heels
we talked about Bunny Glamazon before.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we did.
I don't. Well, did I? Where she? Okay, I don't know if I told. Maybe I didn't tell this part, but so she's got me. This woman's got to be 6'5" in heels. Okay, absolutely biggest things I've ever seen in my life.
Excuse me.
They're looking for somebody to go on stage. They're looking for a bachelor. I'm not a bachelor. I'm like, well, it's her 21st birthday. She's like, oh, okay. I'm wearing a pair of shorts. She comes on stage. I come on stage. She's hanging out. The next thing I know, she's got her hand down my pants. I'm like, this is cool. Next thing I know, she's starting to try to rip my underwear off of me. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, kind of sitting there.
What,
and I'm
like giving you a wedgie?
Well, not like a wedgie. Like she's trying to pull my underwear off of me while I'm like wearing my shorts. Like, and it's funny because I'm kind of sitting there going, how good did I wash that underwear? Because I'm in college and I'm like,
you might have left a skid mark or two.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I'm like kind of sitting there. I'm kind of like sitting there, and it's like, and they're tighty whities. So on top of it, I'm like, okay. I'm like, do I really want it? And so I'm kind of fighting a little bit, and then finally, which makes it all the more hilarious, and the guys I'm with are dying of laughter. Okay, so eventually she gets them off of me, and she's using them like to wrap around her boobs and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I think that what Mike remembers is there was a picture, I've talked about there was a really bad picture that I found where there's a picture of me holding her boobs, and I've got the waistband tied around my head like a headband.
Oh, looking like a crazed Weird Science.
Looking like a crazed maniac. And the best part is, so we go to another club. Okay, now we go to another club. Uh-huh. Now I'm blitzed. Now I'm totally blitzed. Okay? And they're like, hey, why don't you come up on stage? I'm like, oh, Jesus. So I get up on stage, and the first words out of my mouth to this woman is, hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing any underwear.
Right. You had to set that up to be sure in case she grabbed for him.
Right, exactly.
She was going to go for the gold next time.
Right. And I mean, totally different place, but like, I'm like sitting there, I'm half blitzed, I'm like, just so you know, I'm not wearing any underwear. And she's like, she has this panicked look on her face because the way that the place was set up, it was like tables all over the place. It wasn't like one stage. There was like a table, and then there was like a stage at each table. Each table.
Oh, they had like a riser at each table. Okay.
Right. And they were big tables. They had like maybe you sit like 10, 12 guys around one of these tables. And it was funny because she kind of had a look like maybe this is a bad idea. And one of my friends was like, no, he's okay. He was at another club, and the headliner pulled, and she's like, oh, okay. And she was like, oh, jeez. But it was really funny. Cause I ended up dancing at that night too, and cause I was like, I think I was trying to win a contest or something. The next thing I know, I'm like whipping my shirt off and throwing it off, and I'm trying to like pick up the girl, and
I would have loved to have seen that, man.
That answers that question. And now, if anybody listens to this show, they've got way too much ammunition on me.
All of us do, man. Are you kidding?
Oh no, not like this. I didn't tell you. Don't tell that. You're not telling stuff like this on a podcast, are you? I am.
Well, I have said some pretty racy things in the past shows, but yeah, I mean, we've all have said our share of very racy things.
Not Mike. Mike's good. Mike's fine.
No, Mike's about as straight as they come, man. I mean, you know.
Yeah. Yes, Mike is straight.
You know, he's as straight as they come. No, that Mike is the epitome of America, mom, and apple pie. Okay.
But I do have a question for Mike. That's kind of
next to the dirty bird named Ivy Rivera over here, and then even next to the dirtier bird, Jeff Stein over there, which yeah.
Well, that's like I saw something. This is how dirty my mind is. I was scrolling through Facebook today, and somebody was talking about using guns on protesters and stuff. And the line that they had, the only reason I'm laughing about it is the next line is like, or do you beat them? Or do you beat them off? And I'm like,
okay, not a good choice of words.
Right, exactly. I'm like, and it's like, I'm sitting there like, really?
That's a different kind of gathering.
Right, exactly. I'm like, oh, you beat off looters. Interesting.
I
have some gay friends who'd love to come over.
Well, they just sit there and go down. They would way too much.
Yeah. So, but I did have a question for Mike along the lines to corrupt the poor boy.
Please ask away, my friend.
Okay, so I don't know why my mind went here. Is there such a thing as Transformers porn?
Unfortunately, yes.
There is.
DeviantArt has, some have, sexualized some of the characters. Just like anything. It's Rule 34. Rule 34. Transformers is not immune to Rule 34.
Oh, I've seen some of those RC pictures. I've seen some of the...
No, it's not just RC. It's like Starscream and Megatron gay for each other and all that.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Well, actually, though, because the early IDW line of comics has expounded upon that, because Transformers are genderless, so why can't two robots be in love where they just have, different names? But anyway, there is, yes. Short answer, yes, there is Transformers porn.
Is there one where they transform into like
Deadbolt, they got them two going together.
Ivan, what was it, Jeff?
I was just gonna ask, does one transform into like a dildo or something like that?
No, that's just a little more blatant. Whereas like DeviantArt will explore the relationships between some of the characters. But no, there's the sex toy joke. I think even The Simpsons did it, where there's a Transformers episode where the things came to life, like the 2007 movie. And sure enough, there were, sex toys,
Oh, can I get my...
Actually, there was one club exclusive that was because they searched for a name with the safe search on. They named one of the Transformer Collector Club characters after a double-ended dildo.
Did they really?
Yeah. The character's name was Nexus Maximus. It sounds pretty cool. But you turn the safe search off on Google, and it's a double-ended dildo.
Now, it'd be cool if Nexus Maximus turned into a double-ended dildo. See, that's what I was curious about. Do they do, like, cartoon Transformer porn? Like, where they actually, like, turn into things?
I'm sure they do, and I bet you can find that on Pornhub, too. I bet you.
I don't know.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised.
Yeah, the problem is when you do that, then all your searches start to get really weird, because it's like, no, that's not what I'm looking for at all. What are you, nuts?
I mean, they've done it with every other cotton picking thing. I mean,
exactly.
Don't even get started with My Little Pony. That's an entirely different, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the latest incarnation, has attracted a lot of adult male fans, and they're all about the shipping the characters together. So. Yeah. But no, it's Rule 34. Yeah, it's everything, man. It's nothing.
I've never heard of Rule 34. What do you mean by
Rule 34?
No.
You don't know what Rule 34 is?
No. You don't know what Rule 34 is?
Rule 34 is, if it exists, there is porn of it.
Okay. Where do these rules come from?
These are rules of the internet.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't know there were such rules for the internet. Wow. There are rules on the internet?
Apparently. But I think rule number 1 is there are no rules.
I was going to say, that's why I'm like, there's Rule 34. How do we get to Rule 34?
There's other rules, there's other rules, like if there's an alternate universe where all the genders are swapped on every show character.
Right. All the colors are changed. There's different standards on certain.
There's different standards everywhere, according to the internet. That's for sure.
Yes.
So yeah.
So Mike, what have you been up to?
Well, let me tell you.
How many people did you have to kick out of the store this week?
Well.
Wait, hold on. Ivan, what's your guess?
We don't kick people out of the store. We asked them. We asked them to wear a mask, and because the disposable ones, like the little paper ones, those are in great supply now. So we offer them a mask if they don't have one for free.
Ivan, how many people did Mike have to offer a mask?
Okay, do I get a?
Well, I can't. I don't have a total for the week. I just have like a daily. Like today was only like 2 people I saw without a mask.
I was about to say 5 or 6. But okay.
6 was Friday. Actually, that's the most I've ever seen since the pandemic started. 4 months ago. Jesus, it's been 4 months now. God.
Yep.
Criminy. Yeah, but the Rona is spreading. Apparently, my coworker on Friday called in. He has a fever, so he got tested on Friday, but it may be weeks before he gets the results. And then we'll need a release form from the doctor before he can come back to work. And by then, he's going to college, so he's probably done. So I don't know. I'm thinking he might have just made it up. Who knows? Would have been.
I was going to say
a fantastic ploy to keep from coming to work. But the thing is that he started in February, right before this whole shit started. So he wasn't properly trained, and now he's just 1 foot out the door already, and now he's like, oh, I have a fever. So whatever.
Well, you have to remember that just because you have Rona, the symptoms don't come on immediately. So that's the tricky
Well, now
part.
he's exhibiting a symptom, so now he's getting tested because he has to. And apparently, other family members, especially my niece's boyfriend has to get tested because his dad has it, and my niece and her boyfriend were over for a visit. I think it was Thursday or Friday, so we're waiting on him. But he's sure maybe he doesn't. He's not showing any symptoms. But so it's getting around, and I got a text from a friend this morning saying that his great aunt died of COVID. She was in the nursing home back in May when things were spreading kind of hardcore.
Yeah,
it's getting around, and it's
still out there.
It's sure is out there, but
it's out there. I did a video today.
I saw that.
Yeah, we know. We saw that. Well, we know. Jeff and I know, but yeah, there's a video on Ivan Rivera's Facebook page. You want to check it out?
Yeah,
he does the test. Now, I couldn't watch because of I'm eating dinner. I'm not going to watch this. Did you put the swab in?
Yeah.
Did you go?
No. I did it in all seriousness. I did it in all earnestness when I did it.
Right, but nobody wants to watch you shove that thing.
Yeah, I wasn't going to watch.
That's why I said if you're squeamish and can't deal with it, just put your phone down
I didn't deal with it.
Yeah, that would be the part where I came in later. Thank God.
I can't deal with that now.
Right, exactly. But at least you heard the sound of my voice, and I gave you an explanation of what I was doing.
Okay.
If you couldn't see it on the screen, and I said everybody, I gave the disclaimer: hey, if you're too squeamish, if this is too much for you, put your phone down, put your screen down, just listen to the sound of my voice. Yeah. And I know, because I know there's going to be people out there that are going to be like, oh no, I've been sticking the swab up his nose, and I know that's not for everybody. And I know now they know, there's now, what's becoming more and more popular is the swab that goes in your mouth now, which they're trying to work out the whole.
Why?
They're trying, because the nose to do it up the nose is a trick. I mean, I sneezed a couple of times when I first did it.
Oof.
I sneezed and I had a runny nose.
The swab was in.
That sounds painful.
Yeah. I sneezed while the swab was in. I had a runny nose all day. It was the worst, but I did it the first time. But then, having done it every week now, I've gotten used to the idea.
Wait, you're doing it every week up the nose?
For 10 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, you talked about it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize you were doing that every week. Oh.
No, every week. For 10 weeks, yeah. But it's because all of my research is going into a data bank for people, so that way they can find ways for people to get the testing done at home if they don't want to leave home. So basically a lot of the situation I'm doing is based totally on the people that are too scared to go out to the sites. They can talk to their insurance company. They can go to letsgetchecked.com and actually get the test sent to them via UPS. And it's a 10-week study, and it's very helpful. It really gives you peace of mind because right after the first test, you get your results a couple of days later. They set you up with a link, and then they set you up with your Gmail, and then they send you the results saying, hey, we sent your test, go to the site.
The email bound.
And then off you go. And so far it's been so good. I've been very fortunate that I've not been COVID positive. So, and considering the fact that as of lately I'm going out a little bit more now than I was before, and I was a little apprehensive because, okay, when I go out with Julie, or now, we're trying to get things together over at the record store. I've been out with John for, Electric Jungle and things like that. And again, now that I'm not in my familiar surroundings, when you're out there in the world and God only knows what everybody's been touching. In fact, here's one for you. Now there are a few stores out there, they're not taking your money anymore. They want you to use your card. They're not taking any money. In fact, Julie and I went out today, and we went to Aldi. They would not take the money. You had to use a card. I went to McDonald's, and they don't want your money. You have to give them your card.
Yeah, if you want to pay cash, you can go to the registers. Like the self checkouts are card only, because that way they don't have to have employees filling cash into the machines.
Right.
So it helps with that. But I think hopefully that, I prefer cash myself because I have a card that's linked to my checking account.
I
prefer the old-fashioned way, but there's some people it's kind of Big Brother-ish because that way they can track every transaction you've been at. But I mean, everywhere you've been. I mean, your phone does that. I mean, we all carry our phones around, and if someone wants to know where you've been, all they have to do is know where your phone's been, and that's easy. Apparently.
All I gotta do is look on Facebook when you just checked in.
Well, a lot of people, most people don't use. Some people, I have a couple of friends who have deleted Facebook.
Use a GPS. Some people use their GPS. As long as they got a phone, you got GPS, they'll find you.
They know where you at. They know where you've been. But anyway, I'm still.
Yeah, in the meantime, they got no problem going on Amazon all day.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been a interesting week. Built a riser for one of my glass cases, and
I saw that. That was cool.
Yeah, I built the light up thing on it, and using some of Dad's woodworking tools. So that was fun. Used a scroller saw and a planer. So
yeah.
Well, you have like this, like the little like mist that comes out. Like you could do like Space Odyssey 2001
like a smoke machine.
And, yeah, like a smoke machine and it rotates. And
yeah, I need to get some dry ice. Yeah, no, it ain't like.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ladies and gentlemen, Stonehenge. It's not like Spinal Tap. No.
You should have like the Space Oddity from David Bowie. Dan, 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 dan. Playing out from it. From Man Who Sold the World. That'd be cool.
Yeah. No, what was I looking at where somebody was using action figures and stuff like that, and they were setting off like explosives to make it look like they...
Yeah, because the photography. Yeah, they'd show like
photography.
Little like fireworks and smoke bombs around like action figures, make it look like actual battle scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the cosplayers do that too with that whole trick photography thing. But
this not just Photoshop, but I mean like using
real
little sparklers and stuff.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, I've seen video of it. It looks pretty cool. But cosplay people, they do it. If they ever do it that way, I want to watch because, no offense, I kind of watch when something goes horribly wrong. But
horribly wrong.
Do you set up like little scenes, or you just do it where you just put them on risers?
I don't do dioramas. I just set them up. I'm trying to do that more. Kind of more that if it don't display, it's going away. Where I'm kind of calling. I've actually sold 2 figures today. So.
Oh wow.
It's Facebook Marketplace. It's really great. Not having
What'd
to
you
pay.
Sell?
Just 2 little Beast Wars figures.
Okay.
I've cut away 450 45s over the last week.
Yeah, you said you've been culling your collection. Yeah. You talked about last week. So how's that going?
Yeah, it's doing good. I mean, like I said, I got 450 records ready to give away / sell, and it's been good. I've had a couple of people hit me up already, and I have one guy in Washington D.C. who I'm going to be sending him a surprise package. Hi Steve, Stephen C. Majors from Washington D.C. Yeah,
thanks for listening.
We hope. Yeah, not so much a surprise now if he listened.
No, but that's fine. No, but he knew I was going to do it. But we had talked. I talked to him about it. A few years ago, he had asked for. He was looking for a 45 that I happen to have extra copies of, and I sent him that one plus 8 more. And then after that, it's been kind of like this dialogue. I actually got to talk to him in person, which was really cool. And now he's kind of like, wow, great. So I got like I said, 450 of them. Basically, it's just a matter of just, getting the best of the doubles and triples, keeping the best ones for myself, of course, but then all of the, what I would call B-class and C-class records. The B-class records. Right.
We talked about this last week. You're starting pulling your collection. Now, like I said, I don't remember if you answered this or not, but are you finding, as you're going through the collection, are you finding more that you are missing that you want?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
It never fails because here it is, you go through a certain group or a certain, label or something, and you're kind of like, oh wow, I got all of this label except this one. Or I got all of these songs except this one. Or you discover that artist, has got labels, has done records elsewhere, and then you go after them. It never stops.
Yeah, you're trying to just chasing that dragon.
Right, exactly. Always chasing that dragon, man.
Is that code for something?
Yeah, it's the addiction.
The addiction.
The collecting bug.
Yeah, it's the passion that you have when you're collecting. It's like archaeology. You're like going out there in the wilds and just trying to find the stuff. And yeah, I mean, you can do it online and everything, and that's all good and fine. No hating on that, okay? But at the same time, there's just a little extra something when you go out to the secondhand stores in the flea markets or the barns or the basements or the attics, or you read about it in Marketplace or you search it out somewhere, and then you're like, oh, wow, look at this. Case in point, a friend of mine, Wolf Calls, he had a couple of boxes of 45s, record boxes. Mm-hmm. And we talked about it.
Those are boxes that have records in them?
Yes. Exactly.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
And so he had like 150 of them. We talked on a price, and he actually dropped them off, contactless drop off. I mean, he came by and I gave the tray with the money.
Did he drop them off a building?
No, in the front of the house. Anyway, so
he dropped them in the front of the house. Did he smash them, or did he just drop them? Or
no.
He placed them on the ground.
He placed them on the
ground. Step away slowly.
All
right.
No, yes.
And you leave a paper bag with the money in it.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, same thing. Yeah. Anyway, but so that being said, it was that being said, it was just like, so I bring them in and I find that, oh my gosh, I mean, what I paid for them, more than made up for what was inside the case. I totally doubled my money with what was inside the boxes. I mean, there were a bunch of import sites that I had never seen on major groups. There was a bunch of alternate takes on things I've never heard, and some really, really clean stuff that my collection had some real beaters in, so I got to replace them. So that was really nice.
Okay. Were there any naked pictures of B. Arthur?
No pictures of B. Arthur, and no pictures of Kitty, of Betty White. There's no pictures of.
I didn't ask anything about Betty White. We like Betty White. Pictures of B. Arthur. Ew.
Yeah, B. Arthur. Yeah, that's kind of sick. Okay.
Sorry. I saw Airheads again over the weekend when they.
Why does that not surprise me?
That's one of the crazy demands that they have. Is like one of the crazy demands they give them is a nude picture of B. Arthur.
Why would anybody want to have their stomach turned? I mean, really now.
Well, they wanted to prove that they were insane and they were, that they weren't of their own cognizant mind.
Airheads.
So they would be able to have that defense after they got arrested.
Oh, of course.
So they did things like football helmets filled with cottage cheese, and the other thing was and stuff like that.
Now I want to see that. Is it on Netflix, by the way, or would you find out?
I don't know. Comedy Central has it running every so often, but boy, that movie, for some strange reason, for a movie that's not really supposed to be a good movie, the irony is the cast has it's like a killer cast. It's like there isn't a bad person in that cast, like somebody who isn't really well known. I mean, there's only a few people where it's I don't know who that guy is. Everybody's somebody where it's you're okay.
Do you ever get the feeling that those types of movies are created from a bunch of people getting together at somebody's mansion at a big party saying, yeah, that would be a good idea for a movie, let's make it?
Well, it was funny because it was, I can't remember what year Airheads was made, but it was just at the right time where there were a bunch of people who were in that film who it was right before they all got real bigger.
Before they all got big.
But they were right on that cusp and they all needed a job kind of thing, and it all kind of fell in. Cause Farley's in there, and Adam Sandler, and Steve Buscemi, and, what's his name? The guy from, The Mummy, not Tom Cruise. The good one. Brendan Fraser.
94.
Joe Mantegna.
See, it just...
Michael McKean's in there. Ernie Hudson's in this thing. Judd Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Beavis and Butthead are in this movie.
So here's the thing. It kind of rings true of another movie, American Graffiti. Here's Ron Howard writes a passage as an adult actor, Cindy Williams, Harrison Ford, and all of these guys who were just starting to break out, and that was just their central piece to break them out.
Well, it's funny because American Graffiti is the only reason why Happy Days came out to existence.
Well, yeah, that was a movement that was happening back then because, all right, you had Love American Style, which featured the very first episode of Happy Days called The Television Set. Then, okay, here in Chicago, Fire Radio starts in March of 1973. Okay, American Graffiti was making its inroads in 72. And so it was just like this whole nostalgic renaissance happening in the early 70s for some reason. Everybody went from hippie people and the Summer of Love and all this other stuff. Now it's the early 70s, and now everybody's gone back to the late 1950s, early 1960s again all of a sudden. And you have bands like Sha Na Na and Shawada Wadi and
Shawada Wadi.
Yeah, Shawada Wadi
That's
is
a band? That's a band?
Yeah, it's a band. Shawada Wadi was the equivalent. It was the British equivalent to Sha Na Na. They were called Shawadi Wadi.
Ah, okay.
And Flash Cadillac and the Continental Kids, they were a thing for a little while. They were featured in the movie. So yeah, it became a Renaissance thing in the early 70s. And here in Chicago, when Fire came on the air, boom, it brought all the 50s and 60s stuff in vogue again. It was like the thing of right place, right time. And so that being said, but all those stars in that movie ended up doing bigger things. I mean, Cindy Williams went to Laverne and Shirley, Ron Howard went to Happy Days. Harrison Ford went to Paul LeMat, went on to do other things, I think the only character that I don't think went any further than that movie was the girl that played Frog's girlfriend. Or not Frog, Toad in the movie. There was a blonde-haired girl, Candy Clark, I think her name was. And never heard anything further out of her, but it's just one of those things, But yeah, I get it.
By the way, I meant to ask you, Mike.
Yeah.
So what would you say are your favorite, I was going to ask this a while ago, we got on a tangent. What are your favorite, Transformer pieces you've got? Or what are probably your, or is that different than which ones are worth the most, or what do you?
Well, you mean like there's ones that have monetary value, and then there are ones that have sentimental value. I mean,
yeah. So
I have one that way back in the 80s, when my friends and I were collecting, and one day my neighbor had thrown out a bunch of Playboys, and we managed to find them out of the garbage bag that he had disposed of them from. And there's no garbage on them. It was just the magazines he was throwing away. He had them in a bag. So we swiped the bag, and for a while I had a stack of Playboys. And,
I remember this story. Go ahead.
And a friend of mine wanted a particular issue, and he traded me his Sunstreaker, which is one like a yellow Lamborghini. And
okay.
A few years later, he died in a car wreck. Drunk driver killed him. So that one is, for years, that was proudly displayed in my room. That has the most value to me personally. And there's other ones that have like the Fortress Maximus from 1987. That one's worth a lot. There's some of the third-party figures, like unlicensed third-party figures that have a lot of value now. And there's one in a set I want to try and complete, but I don't want to pay the secondary market for. But yeah, they're like the original. I mean, like the Generation 1 or the original Optimus Prime, that's been reissued like 10 times or whatever. Geez. But I mean, I have the original vintage that I rebought in 95 when I got back into collecting, and that one's worth maybe 150, 200 now. But yeah, there's some vintage pieces that I enjoy, and there's other ones that are like, there's a couple of them did survive my, when I first bought them back in the day. I still had the originals, a couple of them, not many, but because once I found out that I could rebuy them, I'd buy, versions that were not broken or stickers that weren't peeled or anything like that. But yeah, there's a couple pieces that are of, that are expensive. They're pretty valuable. But there's a couple that are like, yeah, then these are special to me, personally.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I have certain songs, I have certain records that mean the world to me. Not on a monetary level, but on a personal level. Monetary level, I've got all kinds of things in the record collection I can probably turn for a nice profit. But I mean, okay, you might find this interesting. My father, he gave me a copy of Inside Looking Out and You're on My Mind on MGM. By Eric Burdon and the Animals. I still have that record to this day. I mean, it was that and the Rolling Stones, and with a Rolling Stone 45, which I also still have to this day. Let's see, Get Off My Cloud and I'm Free, which, I have that on the original Blue London label.
I was singing that the other day. I was like, get off of my cloud. I was singing that in the truck the other day. I heard another funny adventure. Last week, I tried to start the lawnmower, and it wouldn't start. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't start.
Because Ivan's got it.
Yeah, the lawnmower wouldn't start. Exactly. Yeah, he's got it in his room with him, actually,
right.
now, running.
We've been hearing it most of the...
Sitting on top of it.
Yeah, we've been hearing most of the show.
I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right. It's his ceiling.
No,
it's his fan.
Funny.
He's got
I'm just laughing.
It's his fan. He needs it to survive because he has no AC. So, all right. Next day, I rented a lawnmower for like $25 at the rental place, so I can get the grass cut. So the next day, all right, I'll take it to get it repaired. So I'm about to lift it up into the truck because I got to lift it up into the back of my pickup. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to pull it just to see. And sure enough, first pull starts right up. I'm like, son of a bitch. So at least, so now it's ready. I mean, I don't know what I did, but I mean, I checked the plug, I checked the oil, I checked the gas, and I cleaned the carburetor, a little trick I learned on YouTube. But man, oh man, it's like...
Just needed a good little shake.
I guess, yeah, I just took a little, I don't know, maybe I flooded it, I guess, but oh well. But that was fun. That was $25 wasted, so...
Oh, well, that happens. I mean, it's one of those moments, too, where you go ahead and you sell something and then you realize, maybe I shouldn't have sold that. Because then you find out later that, oh, yeah, that's what it was really worth. Oh, shit. Yeah, okay, I gave that away.
I've had that, where it's like, well, at least I got what I was happy with, what I sold it for. And then, like 6 months later, it, like, triples in value because somebody was on the up or something.
Was on the up and up on it,
yeah. Oh, well. But things been okay. Jeff, how you been?
I was going to ask you, I saw you were playing Hero,
Hero Realms for a game night. Oh my God. We're playing in the garage because we're being sensible and social distancing somewhat and just trying to stay, limiting contamination. But by the end, I'm like, we were like getting beat up. The mosquitoes were biting the hell out of us, so we had to quit. We were like, no, we're done. So, because I didn't have any I didn't have any repellent in the house.
You didn't have the bug zapper.
So.
You didn't have the bug zapper either.
No, we don't have the bug zapper no more. And we lit a citronella candle I found in the garage, but those things don't help. but yeah, Hero Realms. We played.
Ivan's got a candle for you. You could have lit it. Would have helped a lot.
Gwyneth Paltrow has one too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did some game night on Friday. That was fun. Had a good time.
Yeah, your family walks in. Why does it smell like fish in the garage?
Oh.
I shouldn't say that. I'm sure Gwyneth for JJ smells just. Although the guy from Coldplay, we could ask him if one of these days he would know.
Yeah. He can name that
he
tune in 3 notes, Alex.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jeff, how you been?
For the most part, pretty good. It's funny. I did some gaming over the weekend online, so that was pretty much most of my Saturday and a little bit Sunday morning. Then I did a workshop for some people at Toastmasters. It's funny because I laugh because when people are like, "Oh, I'm not seeing anybody. I'm not getting anywhere. It's like, I don't know, with Zoom, it's like I'm seeing and getting to see people I normally wouldn't get to see on a regular basis because, like, I was gaming with people from, like, all over the country, like, from the East Coast, Texas, Louisiana, you get the idea because we're able to do that. I mean, we had, for the ongoing campaign, this ongoing D6 Star Wars campaign that we've been that I've been a part of for like, God, it's gotta be like almost 20, 25 years. And I think we had about probably, they ran 3 slots, what you would call 3 slots a day, and each slot was running somewhere in the neighborhood of between like 3 to 4 games each, and we had about anywhere from 20 to 30 players total each time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, really in reality, I don't know if they were the same people over and over again, but really in reality, we're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of, we had about anywhere between 60 and 100 people play over the weekend. So, kind of amazing in that regard to be able to do that with multiple different modules and, set up a whole schedule. It was almost like a gaming convention, so to speak. So kind of cool. I got to play a few things and I had to run a couple events too. One of the ones I ran was, a module I wrote. God, it's gotta be like 20 years ago. I wrote basically a Star Wars Christmas module.
Nice.
That I wrote like eons ago.
Was B. Arthur in it?
No, I could add her.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. B. Arthur, I think you are aware of this. B. Arthur is in the Star Wars Christmas special.
Yes, the Star Wars Holiday Special. Yes.
Yeah, the Star Wars Holiday Special, and she's the owner of the Mos Eisley Cantina, and they do a song and dance number. And I have threatened for a very long time that one of these days I'm going to write a module which in the middle of the Mos Eisley Cantina they're going to do a song and dance number. And everybody's like, if you do that, I swear to God, I'm going to kill you. I'm like, it's canon. I'm allowed to.
Oh, yeah.
Favreau says it's canon. I don't know about Filoni, but Dave Favreau, or John Favreau wants to do a holiday.
Yeah, John Favreau wants to do another one. Yeah. And I'm like,
and they mentioned Life Day in the first episode of Mandalorian. That is awesome.
Yeah. So, like I said, to me, I kind of laugh about the whole thing. It's,
but when you've got that many people, and there's some people who are great for the laughs, and sometimes some people are super serious and they get upset when people are having too much fun. At least
that's stupid.
Yeah. Because I'm the one who has to read the flavor text when we're gaming.
Mm.
You enter a room and a strange man in a cloak in the corner. I'm the... Because I'm the...
You know what my favorite part You know what my favorite part is? My favorite part of being, when I'm running a game is, here's the part that's always hysterical. It's when there's nothing going on, where you're doing certain things and they all get paranoid. You could... Yeah. When you kind of like do this nondescript, and then you can do something else where they should totally be checking it, and it's like, oh yeah, we're good. Like, really? Like, it's like they have to because like they're on like an Imperial mission doing like bringing presents to an orphanage, and they're like, check it for a bomb, like check the ship for a bomb, and I'm like, here's the irony. The irony is, more people are paranoid in this module about this than in the module where they actually wrote something where there actually is a bomb on the attached to the ship, and nobody ever
finds it.
Nobody normally just sits. I rarely ever hear anyone go, "Hey, before we take off, I'm going to check just to make sure there wasn't anything put on the ship." Usually, I have to be like, "Hey, give me a perception check or something like that." Then everybody's like, okay, let's go, let's get out of here. I'm like, okay, that's a bad thing. Just go blow
Maybe, you should have checked that.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't really want to kill everybody. But
when you're in the safest, they think they're the most in the most peril.
Oh yeah. There was one time I created, like, sometimes we do like what's called like a seminar where we do kind of like an interactive thing or a special event that gets run. And there was one that I essentially, so the head of the rebellion ends up getting kidnapped and they have to go get him, and he's inside this warehouse. Well, we did all kinds of crazy things with the warehouse. Like you open the door and there's like lasers flying around in the dark, like the red like lasers. There's light, like it lights up all over the place. So they're all freaked out because they think there's a whole bunch of sniper guns in there. When really in reality it's just red lights.
No, it's just colored lights.
We knew there were a bunch of people who were wearing a whole bunch of power armor and stuff like that for some strange reason. So we sneakily found out who had the most powerful one and made sure that the magnets that were in the walls of the building were strong enough to pull that guy.
The heavy armored guy.
The heaviest armored guy. So anybody who had was wearing armor kept getting slammed from one side of the building to the other. It was like they had to get out of their armor and stuff. We had stuff where there was like silly string that came down that was acid. I can't remember. Oh, I know what it was. Then there was something where the top of there was blacktop, and depending on what you did to it, if you struck it, it would all go up in a big boom, like a big flame, like an explosion.
It was combustible. Whoa.
It was combustible. It was like a whole bunch of this kind of stuff. I mean, we did like a whole bunch of this stuff. It was like basically we called it the fun house. And when I say the fun house, the only people who were ever getting fun were the GMs.
Right. Booby traps.
Because the night before we were like laughing our ass off putting this thing together. And they were not happy, but it was really funny because they got through it. And I remember specifically saying this. The reason I'm going this route is, I remember specifically saying, okay, so they get off the final floor and they get off the floor and they go through, I think we had it where the secret passage to get downstairs to where they were holding them was inside the kitchen, was inside the refrigerator. And they would never have guessed it was in there, and then they found it. So I'm like, it was really funny. As a matter of fact, because you get force visions, and as they're walking around and they can't find it, we gave a force vision to the force vision to the force users who were like, "You're hungry, but you don't know why."
That's a line from Robin Williams.
Right, but we used it anyway because we thought it'd be funny. The point I was getting at is, so they get through the refrigerator, they go down the stairs, and we're like, "What are we gonna put on stairs?" I'm like, "Absolutely nothing." And they're like, "What do you mean?" "Trust me. Use this description. The stairs are clean and pristine, and they look immaculate."
Oh.
And everybody was like, "Oh, you're mean." I'm like, "Yeah, kinda." "Oh, this gotta be a trap."
Nope. Just clean stairs.
And the best is they're doing stuff and then they start rolling botches. So now there is stuff going on. Like I said, players are fun that way. You use their own paranoia against them. I saw, I've been watching that Dirty John, Betty Broderick thing on USA. I don't know if either one of you have caught. Probably not, because neither one of you guys really have cable, right?
No, I've not been watching much television. I've just been watching Stargirl. That's my only appointment television I've been watching.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. What's up about this?
So it's based on the true life story. It's the Broderick's case, the Betty Broderick case that happened a while back. But the interesting part is the two leads are Christian Slater and Amanda Peet. And Amanda Peet gives, I'll tell you right now, Amanda Peet, that's probably one of the best performances I've seen her give in a long time. If that's not nominated for an Emmy performance, I don't know what is. But I'm sure some Game of Thrones thing or something like that will fucking knock her out and not get it nominated. But I thought she gave I thought it was really solid. It was well done. It was a good piece. I will say it was kind of one-sided towards Betty Broderick, but it became very clear that there was reasons for that, that they had to show certain things. But Christian Slater was really good at it too. I just thought it was a real well done kind of mini series. I think it's like about 6 episodes, and it's on USA and you can pick it up. So it's a high recommend if that's stuff that you're, they've done a real good job with some of those pieces when they're doing stuff like that. Where they're doing like true life story type pieces, because they did that one piece a while back with Notorious Big and Tupac. That was really good too, and it was kind of a similar. They kind of used a similar vibe to it in some ways, if you know what I mean. But this was a little bit more chronological, but it was really solid. Trying to think about anything else. Did I do anything else of note? Not really. Well, last week was kind of a quiet week in some ways. But that's okay. Oh, I've been playing way too much.
You've been watching, you said you watched Airheads?
Yeah, I saw Airheads. Mm-hmm. And I watched a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 before I lose Disney Plus. Because I just can't figure out why I would. I'm not sure I really feel the need to keep it for another month.
No, just wait until season 2 of Mandalorian.
Right. Well, it's funny because Winter Soldier Falcon was supposed to be.
Yeah, they announced that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's not coming out this next month. So.
See, that's the part where I kind of laugh, because it's like, they've created this summer movie thing on Friday night, but there's a part of me where I'm like, okay, I've seen all these movies. Oh, I'm sorry, I watched Solo again. I also watched Solo again, and I continue to sit there and go, boy, I hope Disney Plus does something with that.
Well, I think the actor who played Solo says he's part of a project, and he's legally bound not to mention it. So, fingers crossed, we get either a direct to Disney Plus Solo movie or a series. That would be awesome.
Right, and you know what? A series might be better than a movie.
Yeah,
a series actually would be a lot better than a movie.
It
probably would
have
been better.
Mandalorian formula.
Right, and you know what? A series would have been a lot better than a movie, especially with what they were trying to do. But I get it; they thought they could do well on a movie. But yeah.
Yeah, just think if the Solo movie was like an 8-episode arc instead, where they could have spent more time with the characters, like what they did with Nick Nolte, Ugnaught, and Cara Dune. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would work.
Well, and the funny part is about Solo is there's some aspects of that where there was so much in some ways with other plot lines that were left dangling that were interesting. Like the whole Crimson Dawn thing was interesting. Mm-hmm. I liked the Cara character, and I liked to see where they were planning on going with that, and then what they were going to do with Darth Maul and how that was going to work. I was curious a little bit about I can't remember whatever nest that it is that is kind of like a rebellion of sorts. It would have been interesting to see a little bit because, in fairness, there's a little bit of time before the whole thing happens where Han gets in trouble with Jabba.
Right, where it gets in, he was obviously hanging with Jabba for a while.
Right. And in the books, there's some interesting stories about that, about where seriously, one of the reasons why Jabba was, cutting him so much slack is, Han had done a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Where, he was really in Jabba's good graces, and Jabba was really trying to be look, hey, I can only go so long before this starts to get ugly.
Yeah, where I've got a reputation to protect, where you need to, obviously pay up. So, yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
But
we lost Falcon Winter Soldier. And, of course, who knows about Black Widow, but someone saw a meme the other day. It's like, yeah, Black Widow dropped on Disney Plus. They're like, yeah, really? Yeah. You also go to time marker at 1:52:48 at Endgame where she's hanging off the ledge.
Mm.
See, because that Black Widow drops. Get it? Okay. Anyway, you had to be there.
That's so bad.
Yes. Yeah.
That's really bad.
It is.
Did we lose Ivan? You there, Ivan?
I think we...
No, he's on mute. I don't know what happened.
He might be eating.
Oh, he might be eating.
That's good.
Uh-oh. Is it? Because now we can't have our segment about what is Ivan eating
Well,
today.
he's here. I can't hear him. Maybe if he was to leave the call and come back. We'll see.
Oh, I'm fine. Hi, guys.
Hello.
You're okay? We figure you were eating.
No, I was I went on a personal run.
Okay. That's totally.
Did you break records doing it?
Nah.
Are you out of breath?
Nah.
Okay.
No.
Was it like a jog more than a run then?
Yeah.
Well, I just went somewhere to shake some things loose.
So, notwithstanding what you just did in the last 15 minutes, how was your week last week?
No, my week was good. I mean, other than just the usual going out into Corona Land and taking care of some things, for the house and just doing the record thing. I was on Twitch over the weekend twice. I was
working on my Detolf riser listening to your tunes the other night, so that was awesome.
Thank you. It was fun. I mean, it's interesting because it's like every time I go on Twitch, it seems like I get further and further out. I mean, I think it was last time I was on, 11 days before, and that's when I ended up reaching Denmark and Switzerland and places like that. Now it seems like I'm reaching out more towards Germany and Poland now. And it's very exciting to get people who are, they contact you on the chat in different languages. You only wish that you knew what they were saying. And then they go ahead, they translate what it is they're talking about. And it's just like, oh, well, that's really cool. And, and on the program I did Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, which was all Chicago-based soul music because, well, again, here we go on my crusade for Chicago music in general, which is a well-known thing on the show. But, yeah, I featured everything from the Chicago area was either recorded or released here. It was really very cool. I had a good time curating it and putting it together.
I really dig that cover of Day Tripper.
Oh, the Vontastic. Yeah. Yeah, that was that's one of those nifty little surprises. And it was funny because I didn't plan that. That kind of just happened, when Jeff quit, Oreo Boy 726, he asked about wanting to know more about Day Tripper, and I assembled the little thing at the top of the hour at that moment. That was not planned. I did it just then.
Yeah, you played a few snippets of some other songs.
Right. Okay. And I like doing that. Those are the things.
Are more and more people after the show or before the show, they're reaching out to you? Saying,
yeah.
Saying, hey, could you play this? Or hey, could you find this?
Right. Funky music, white boy.
Play that.
Oh, there you go. Wild Cherry. Okay. Yeah, Freebird. Okay.
Freebird.
Yep.
Play some Skynyrd, man.
Yeah. Well, no, I've had some people, they would say it throughout the show. Hey, do you like Johnny B. Good? Do you like, somebody asked about George Foreman. I'm like, George
the boxer?
The boxer who made the grill famous?
Yeah, I'm just like, did he make any music? Not that I know.
I think they meant George Thorogood. They probably meant George Thorogood. That's probably who they were trying to say.
I don't know. All I know is they kept asking for George Foreman. I'm just
Foreman.
And I'm just like, what, did he make the song about the grill that I don't know about? I mean, grab myself a hamburger, it in the grill now. Let's have a party. That type of thing. No, I have no idea. But all I can say is, that, like I said, it was fun, and it's nice that, you get people on there that are very appreciative of what you do and everything. I have a friend of mine in France. Her name is, Frambrose Boarcane, which, she's fabulous. She does her own, Facebook Live thing. She's a disc jockey, much like myself, with all of us being in place, just taking place and doing it from our houses. She's got an Airbnb that she runs in France, and she really does some fantastic work. And,
for those not in the know, please explain what an Airbnb is.
Okay, an Airbnb is a place where you can rent to stay, a person's house, which you can rent to stay like for a weekend, and things of this nature. It's just people, just putting their best foot forward, saying,
you
"Hey,
mean an Airbnb?"
An Airbnb.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like, an Airbnb? I was like, what's she assembling, like, the alphabet?
The Avengers.
Airbnb. Okay, well, forgive my Hispanic.
I thought it was some musical thing where it's like, no, it's
no.
Airbnb. Got it.
Airbnb.
The Airbnb.
Okay.
I miss A&W. I miss A&W.
They're like ABBA.
I miss A&W. I like their frosty mugs, the root beer. I missed that. Okay, getting off of that. Anyway,
Arby's is doing root beer floats for $1.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't have an Arby's by me anymore.
There are none by me either.
There's one by me.
You attend it every other night. No,
I like root beer and I like vanilla ice cream. But
yeah,
I just don't me personally, I don't like root beer floats. That's just me.
Okay.
Well, no, I love a good root beer float, but it has to be made with the right kind of ice cream and the right kind of root beer.
What's the right kind of ice cream?
Well, okay, for me, since I can't get Bayer's ice cream where I'm at, I have to go with Dean's, which Dean's is probably the next best thing.
Bayer's? You mean Breyers?
Or Breyers, yeah. Breyers.
Yeah, you can get it at the Airbnb.
Okay, guys. All right, come on now. All right. Jeez,
I didn't know the aspirin people made ice cream.
It's one of those moments where you just want to walk away. Anyway,
so it has to be Dean's. Okay.
It has to be Dean's ice cream because, there's something about the consistency of the ice cream against, actual, root beer. If you get IBC root beer with Dean's ice cream, you've got yourself one hell of a root beer float.
Have you guys tried the Goose Island root beer?
I have tried the Goose Island root beer. I like it.
Pretty good.
I like it. And then Dr. Sparch.
Dr. Spock? You want the child psychologist?
No, Dr. Sparch.
That's worse than that. He's dead, Jim.
No. Anyway, there's one called Dr. Sparch, which is really good. So, yeah, so,
So you've been busy with it, twitching, and you've been going through your record collection.
Well, that, and I also, here's an interesting thing. Well, at least it was to me. I had gotten a hold of my guitar from Electric Jungle, and I was going through some stuff in the other room the other day. And remember the echo pedal that was used in Leaf? The Bill Partika echo pedal?
Never used it. No, I never.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, when they dismantled the studio, I just decided, well, they were going to throw it out, so I okay? So the other day I'm going through a bunch of stuff and I went ahead and I found it and I'm like, oh, there's the transformer for it. There's the pedal. Let's get a couple of cables. Let's plug the guitar in. So I go ahead and I hook up my guitar to my mixing board, run it through my amplifier. And guess what? I ended up making some really, really beautiful cosmic music. In fact, it got me inspired to do a track which I'm currently working on called Dreaming of Aliens, which I'm really proud of. And I was just very pleased at the fact that that pedal, despite the fact that it was Partikized, because Bill Partika had his way of wiring things in the old Weave studio that was kind of unorthodox. Okay? You couldn't put it against the standards of other electricians or people that worked in radio stations.
Isn't that every brokered radio station though?
I don't know. I don't know if it was every...
I feel like it is.
I don't know if that was every brokered radio station. All I know is that Bill Partika, if you wanted anything done at Weave, you had to talk to Bill Partika. God rest his soul, great guy. He's long since been gone. But, so I brought that pedal out and I hooked it all up and I was, calibrating some of those settings on there, which of course to the disdain of Marley and Otis, who weren't too happy at the fact that the feedback was out of control.
Yeah.
But then finally after I wrangled everything in and I got lost in these tunes and I was just like, oh wow, this is cool. So what I did was I sent a file to my friend Drew and, Drew says, hey man, you need to send that to me, in a regular audio file. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do that for you. But yeah, I think
yeah, man, I sent the song in a JPEG.
You can't send a JPEG.
I don't know computers either, Ivan. It's amazing we even have a show now.
Okay. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Anyway.
It would have been much better if you sent it as a PNG.
Okay, come on now, guys. I mean, I do have something up there. I mean, I know it looks small from here, but all I'm saying is, yeah, it was.
Well, if that track's available, just put it out there and let us know. We'll.
Yeah.
I'd love
this story went not where I thought it was going to go. I was waiting for it to blow up your entire system because it was from Weave.
Bill Partika, I never met him actually. I never met Bill Partika because I was a Sunday guy. So.
Well, I met him one time. The poor man suffered from all kinds of, he was a lot of pain. He had brain issues, unfortunately, and that's exactly what he passed away from.
That's a prerequisite for working at WEEF.
I don't know. Maybe he was putting the transmitters too long.
That's how they hired me.
Well, I mean, what's my excuse besides the fact that, I'm just, I was able to not break any of the chairs.
How much, see, the part I remember is you ended up walking away from, between VVX, when VVX and NDZ left, and WEF left, you ended up with, a whole, almost enough for, an entire studio, didn't you?
Well, okay, when NDZ left VVX and it became XXY and all that other shit, and they basically, that board that was NDZ, that ended up going home with me. I ended up taking that home.
You took home a lot of stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, do you still have it?
No, I sold it to one of the brokers. One of the brokers, had asked about it. And so I actually made some money off of that board. So I ended up selling it to them.
Obviously, because you took the board for free. So,
100%
that was the part I laughed about. That was the part I laughed about because Ivan was it was funny before I got fired from there. It was funny because you're and I was talking to you later, and they're yeah, they're going downtown, they're doing all new stuff, and they were giving you all kinds of stuff left and right. I'm look at this going, Jesus.
I took the board. I took two of the reel-to-reels. I took I took some of the cart machines. I could have built my own studio when I was living over there on Armin.
Seriously. The only time I ever got something like that was when Sporting News was moving at the end, and it was my last radio job, and I was it was funny. My boss was they're not taking any of these computers and things. Do you want one in a flat screen? I'm like, yeah.
So,
yes.
And And that was the thing, man, because they didn't want to deal with any of it. And then, of course, there was the closet full of records that what's her name ended up getting a hold of, because she says, "Oh, don't go in there yet. I want to look in there." And then she took them all and left me like a handful. I'm like, bitch. Anyway, but that's okay. All I know is
that the chick from Rebel Radio?
No. No, are you talking about the Rebel? Are you talking about the chick from...
Who took all the records?
Are you talking about Gina, or are you talking about the other one who came in?
No, Gina Madelone.
Okay.
Did she take them?
Okay. From the Heart and Soul. Yeah.
No, she wasn't. She did that motorcycle show.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Gina Madelone.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that there was like 500-600 singles in this closet. And, they had told me that I could have gone ahead and got them, and then Gina goes, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm only going to take a couple." And then I went the following day, and they were all gone. She had swiped them all.
I'm sure she did. It was funny, because I remember when I first met Gina, when I first started working there, and, I just got out of college, so I'm like, oh, hot looking chick at the radio station, okay. And then I got to know her, I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, well, she had a few road miles on her already, so it's kind of like...
Yeah, well, that was okay, because she had that kind of like Patty Hayes thing going a little bit.
Yeah, she kind of had that rough look on her.
Right. Well, she had that smoky Patty Hayes sound, except she didn't look like Patty Hayes, thank God.
Radio!
Yeah, it's funny. Patty Hayes sounds amazing, and then you hear what supposedly she looks like, and you're like...
What, you mean like Homer's sisters-in-law from The Simpsons?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go.
I mean, like, every kid who ever was, like, a radio kid from, like, the 80s had, like, dreams of Patty Hayes, and what she had to look like, and then you find out what she really looked like, and you're just like what?
You were just...
Forget that. I mean, I know guys who, like, they did it to her, from The Voice, and it's like, then they found out, and they're like, gah.
Yeah, like, yeah. It was kind of like...
that was all done. I mean, that just like, who was it? There was, I'll never forget, like, when I was going to intern for Mancow, and, and they were talking about the Cuban bombshell. They were talking about that Irma Blanco chick, and she was supposedly some Cuban bombshell. And I see her, and I'm like, really?
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's not to say she's not. I mean, she was very chesty, but I wouldn't exactly say, like, on a scale, how would I say this? I mean, she wasn't exactly, like, holy cow, like, model level or anything. It was, but okay.
Then, of course, speaking of shameful voices, I remember my commercials that I was running for a little while just because I wanted to make some fast money, and 30 minutes for $30, I think it was. And then here it is, she's got this great voice on the phone, but then she walks in and you're kind of like, okay, this is every joke I've ever heard about sex phone people. Where, you're talking
about the phone sex lady?
Huh?
You're talking about the phone sex lady that used to be on EEF?
Yeah, that was on my show. Yeah, along with that one show that I was doing with the lady and the one guy who, they were taking questions, and they were just, the one guy was kind of light in the loafers, and the one lady was into whips and chains and all this other shit.
Right, wasn't that the phone? Yeah,
yeah,
I remember
and Howie assaulted her, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Really?
Yeah, Howie assaulted her. And that was the end of that.
Yeah.
And so what happens with that whole situation is that here it is, the girl comes in to record the tracks for the commercials and everything, and she walks in, and I'm just like, I'm thinking in my head, she was nothing like I had envisioned her at all.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, you know what? Shame on me. But, she was a nice person, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It was just a business like any other business, and...
Well, that's the one thing about when you worked in radio that's the one thing I always used to laugh about was it never seemed to fail. And maybe at the bigger stations it was a little bit different, but at like the brokerage stations, if there was a woman who walked in who was even, somewhat pretty, it was like half the guys in there were like, "Can I help your leg?"
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly. Everybody was drooling. I mean, remember Rakumis? Not Rakumis. There was one Greek show where there was a woman who used to speak in these really soft, even tones. And you sit there and, you're sitting there trying to hold yourself down as she's talking and you're thinking, oh, I wish I knew what she was saying in English. But, and of course it was one of those things where, yeah, she was beautiful. Her voice fit her personality. But
I can't remember who it was. There was a show when I was over at WSBC where there was some woman, I think she was doing a Polish show. And all of the guys over there were like smitten. And it was funny when I saw her. I mean, she was a very pretty woman, but at the same time, how can I say, the way they would go on and on about her.
Oh my God.
Thought she was
You'd think she was Carmen Electra.
Right. And it was funny because I was like, and it was funny. I'm like, why are you guys all
wild up?
And the funny part was, you know what the answer that I got was? Well, Jeff, you go to strip clubs all the time. I'm like,
yeah.
No, you guys are all, but that doesn't change the fact that you guys are I mean, other than the fact that she had to pay, I mean, they were like, how can I help? What can I do? Blah, blah, blah. And like, wow, hello.
They're tripping over themselves.
Yeah, right.
Tripping over themselves, trying to assist her and help out and do all this other shit.
Yeah, no,
yeah, back in the very tactless, 1990s in ethnic radio. So
that's almost as bad as, I don't know what's worse, that or I told you about when I was working at NDZ and I was doing Less by Gay, and when I was their production guy.
Yeah, I remember.
And they would and the worst part is one of the women would flirt with me, and I just figured, okay, I'm flirt back. She's a lesbian, big deal. And then I find out after we're done,
she was straight.
After we're done, she's straight.
Yeah.
After she's gone.
Yeah. And
I'm like, you people. And I'm like, you people need to tell me these things. They're like, why? Why do I? You know what the best part is? Here's the answer I got back. Why would I tell you? I don't care. Are you kidding me?
Then, of course, the shenanigans that happened after hours over at the radio stations were the stuff of legend.
Yeah, that stuff.
Oh my gosh, all the smoking, drinking, women, partying.
Yeah, well, that's that. Well, didn't somebody hold a bachelor party in?
And that was VVX, yeah.
It was down in VVX. I didn't go, I don't think.
Of course, because, I was there, I was only the Sunday guy, so I'm like, yeah, come in Sunday, wow, there's strange smells in here this morning. Oh well, better get to work. And then
that was because here it is, what it was that, we were gonna have it at VVX and, Jerome was board hopping that night. He was just like, oh man, I can't wait. It's gonna be great. But, the owner, it was still under Douglas Broadcasting.
It was Tony. Tony Jacobs was
Tony Jacobs.
Because I know Tony.
And
I still talk to Tony, by the way.
Oh, well, you should tell him I said hello, man.
I will. That's somebody, they're family, friends of family. So yeah, I've known, I don't talk to him that often, but I know he's out there. Yeah.
So here's the thing. It was for Lance. Lance was getting married. Okay. Now Lance, and of course Tony is just like.
Was it Lance or was it Link?
Link, not Link. Link. It was Link. Link. You're right. Link. So what it was that, okay, Tony made it quite clear. You animals, I don't want you in here doing that shit in my station. You want to go down. He
wasn't wrong.
No, he wasn't wrong. He goes, you want to do that, you go down to the garbage can down the hall and do that. Which he was referring to.
Yay, the Weef, this garbage can. Which was not wrong.
Well.
Which he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get Lincoln there. And of course, everybody that was involved in it. Then of course I invited PJ. PJ was there that night. I was there. And, we got Lincoln there. And of course, oh boy, they got their dancer in there and all manner of scenarios ensued. And the fact that old Link did not walk out of there a straight man, and not only did he smell of all manner of gels and lotions and, all manner of things, which I know he was going to get his ass kicked from his fiance when he got home, but what did you expect? It's a bachelor party. And, not to mention the fact I blew a whole check. I blew my whole check turning everybody on. So it's just like, hey, PJ, come on over here. I don't know about this. Oh, come on. It's a $10 shot. Come on.
That's the problem with see, this is the problem with the bachelor party. The problem with the bachelor party is, seriously, is in the end, there's one person who spends far too much money
to give everybody a good time.
Acts like a prude all this, and it never fails because it's always.
There's always a chongo there's always a chongo in the bunch, know.
And the worst part is, usually the people who are being the most prudish are the people who have more money.
Exactly. So,
it's like, yeah.
I'm like, bitch, I'm spending my money. You need to come over here and put some of that out and help me out. But no.
Well, no, it wasn't even that. It's just like, okay, it's a bachelor party, and the people who have more money and we're more friendly with usually these people. It was like, okay, are you gonna chip in? And why? What do you mean why?
It's a bachelor party.
Oh,
So anyway, put it this way, all my dough went up in various different ways.
Yeah.
So that being said and done, Link didn't go home straight, which was the objective, and we had a lot of laughs, a lot of yucks, people were smoking a lot of weed and the whole, drinking a lot of beer, and of course, Mike, walks in on that. Did I spend the night that night?
You probably did.
You probably did. Yeah, because I did that a lot back then, where I would go ahead and take a puta bath in the bathroom, just freshen up, so I wouldn't be too obnoxiously bad.
After you slept underneath the transmitter.
After sleeping by the transmitter or on the floor and everything.
Yeah,
oh my
you've
God.
been on the floor in the hallway between Studio A and B.
Yeah, exactly. So it was that was my life. I mean, and would I go back and do that again? Absolutely.
I miss the old Weef days.
I do
on
too.
On Skokie Valley Road.
Yep. And then of course, there were a few adventures in Northbrook too. I mean, we had a couch. I mean, the station over there on Skokie Valley Road was huge. I mean, it was a house, so we had all these big rooms and everything. And of course, there was an upstairs, and then there was another floor above that. There was an exit to the roof over there. We had 3 stations running. One of the big Rebel Radio before they got their asses getting kicked out for non-payment over 10 years.
Wow.
Oh.
And then I've already told that story, but nonetheless, it was funny because
is Rebel Radio still around? I know they were he's recently in the 2000s because I know at one point they were on SBC.
Yeah, well, Davidson is still out there on Facebook. He's still doing it. Yeah. I don't know where he's doing it, but it looks like he's at a station someplace, but I don't know where. And once in a while, his show will pop up on my newsfeed on Facebook, and it was just like, oh, okay, he's still holding that torch, man. Still holding that torch,
Yeah, well, unfortunately, unfortunately, far too many people who listen to metal don't fucking buy anything. That's the problem.
Oh no, you're right.
That's the other reason that format died.
They're too
That's
busy spending money on weed and booze.
Weed
and women.
Give a fuck. Not spending it.
I mean, I know a lot of people at the time who were metal people who were like, there needs to be more metal on. And I'm like, well, okay, you're gonna go buy the latest the latest CD or whatever. No, man, I'll just go tape it off the radio. I'm gonna tape it off the radio and make a mixtape.
Are you gonna go to the shows at the Thirsty Whale or at Stadola's or any of the other dozens of places that were doing those kind of shows? Fuck no. Are you kidding? Those those shows were so underattended at that time.
Yeah,
especially
I mean, that's the problem. That was the problem with that's the reason metal died as a format on the radio, is because it was like, okay, what are you willing to buy? And every time I talk to metal people about this, it was like nothing. And I'm like, okay, that's why metal can't stay on air.
Right.
That's why it's gone.
Right, because nobody bothered with it after a while. I mean, I was involved with a band who tried to keep the home fires burning and all that other kind of nonsense. But I knew that in the early 90s, its time had come and gone already. Because by the early 90s, everybody had transcended to grunge, to house, to rap, to, all of that. I mean, the great 80s. There was
still some hard rock that had made its way into the mainstream.
Yeah, because you had Poison. Poison and Guns
the
N'
hair
Roses.
bands of the 80s, they some of them carried over.
Some of the hair bands carried over from the 80s to the 90s.
Right, and then Metallica kind of made a transition, too.
Yeah, once they entered the Sandman.
Yeah.
That's it.
But they were smart that way, because honestly, that made them relevant.
Right, that kept them in the mix, pretty much.
Right, because otherwise they would have been like every other metal band where it's like, okay, they're playing on small bills instead of big stadiums.
Or they go ahead and they'll take whatever they can get and make commercials like Rat. Have you seen the latest Rat commercial?
Yeah, about the cherry pie. Or is it cherry pie? Oh, it's Warrant. Is Warrant doing a cherry pie commercial too?
Warrant made a cherry pie commercial?
Warrant is
Geico.
There's a Geico cherry pie.
Oh, it's Geico, okay.
Yeah, there's a Geico cherry pie version. It's Warrant or something like that, yeah.
Of course, Rat, oh yeah, we got this house, but we have a rat problem. And
I saw that too.
Only one member of Rat. You can see all the other guys are like these young guys filling it. It's just lead singer.
I remember, I think one of the Geico ads had Europe singing Final Countdown in someone's break room or something like that.
Yeah, like I said.
So now it's a mockery of its own self now. I mean,
that's like the one Starbucks commercial where they did the guys from Eye of the Tiger did a thing where it was like they sang about Dan. It was like Dan. And then they kind of made up their own words for it, and it was a Starbucks commercial.
Yeah. Survivor. That was their song.
Mm-hmm. Or for Rocky 3.
Yeah. Jim Petterick, yes, Mr. Survivor, Out to March, and 38 Special.
Clubber Lang.
Yep.
I've been a fool.
See him at your local neighborhood Summerfest in your neighborhood now. Which is that's how I saw the last time I saw.
Not this summer.
Not this summer, yeah.
Summer canceled fest.
He's in the house in Lake Forest that doesn't have trees.
Right.
Because they all got mad. He chopped down
I chopped them all down, fool.
Yeah.
I canceled the trees.
Or maybe because he was mad at Eddie Murphy. Touch my butt cheeks and rip off your dick.
All I can say is, when anybody talks about those old hair bands and everything, and you still have people out there now, even now. In fact, I have a few friends who are now, for whatever reason, there's like this little renaissance of hair bandage starting to happen now. Okay, you get them because I got this one.
You want to know why? I have a guess. I have a guess as to why. Because think about all the stuff that went on during the hairband days. I mean, everybody threw caution to the wind. It was one gigantic party.
Right.
And everybody had a good time.
Yeah.
And people are longing for that shit again.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because when you listen to all of this music and you think to yourself, what mischief have you gotten yourself into? Did you escape the law? Did you go down the razor's edge? Did you drive your car just that much faster because, you've got Warrant on, or you got the Docket and Kingdom Come and Rodney James Dio and all the rest of those bands, Black Flag, I could go on and on and on. But
it's just funny though, because it's really interesting. Because there are some bands that would be heavy metal bands that did end up where even today they're still considered. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Warrant, we're joking around about Rat, and we're joking around about Warrant, and we're joking around about. I mean, even like Judas Priest. You get the idea. I mean, they can't do those big tours anymore. But AC/DC, even with new people, they could still sell out an arena.
Well, yeah. Well, you still got these bands out there that are still trying to keep the torch lit. Unfortunately, you had some of those bands out there. Van Halen comes to mind, that abysmal situation that happened on Jimmy Kimmel, and you're just like, oh shit, okay.
Well, it's like, yeah, Eddie Van Halen's just a talented guy. Oh boy. Yeah. That's.
So you just get that whole situation happening where you know.
I'm not convinced Ozzy didn't make more doing the Osbournes on MTV.
I think he did. He was touring.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's funny though, after that, touring got better for him. You know.
It put him back out there more as a mode of curiosity than anything else.
Well, it reminded everybody that Ozzy's a legend too. So,
right.
You know, that's...
So they go ahead and they get reminded, oh man, you know, it's Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, it was just like, look at all, you know, like bands like Lita Ford, you know, and you know, the Pretenders, the Bangles, you know,
the Bangles isn't a rock. Wait, whoa. The Bangles weren't
well, they were a
heavy metal band.
No, they weren't a heavy metal band, but they were a popular rock band.
They were pop. They were a rock band.
Well, they do a really good version of Hazy Shade of Winter. If you ever visited, check it out.
Right.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is, yeah, you did have some bands out there. Okay.
By the way, there's that really horrible movie that Susanna Hoff's really hot, but that movie that she did was really bad.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't even remember the name of it, but I remember running to it because it was running to go see it because, oh my God, Susanna Hoff
from the Bangles, yeah.
Yeah, might be naked, not
naked.
naked.
Did Susanna Hoff also do something with your man, Nancy Sweet?
Yeah, they did a bunch of covers for the 60s and the 70s. I think they did an 80s album too, but I like the 60s one. They did a couple of pretty good covers together.
Okay. So it just so that's what I'm saying. I mean, like I said, there seems to be a renaissance of rock, you know, a rock renaissance starting to happen now with you know, some of these people that are being rediscovered because of the internet, or some of those people who have stayed with them in the underground and they're having the big resurge again and stuff like that. It's just, you know, it's entertaining to see some of them actually still have the drawing power to actually
I'm just getting so old. I go to my iTunes page to redeem an iTunes card, and I'll look at the front page. I'm like, I don't recognize any of these musicians.
and it's funny.
Well, because, you know, I mean, when it's one of those things like, oh, okay, you look at the page now, it's like, oh, Alabama Shakes, or you know, Florida County Line, or
Florida Georgia Line.
Georgia Line. Okay, thanks for the correction.
Now they're still be live at the A&B later in the week.
Okay. All right, but it comes right down to, yeah, I mean, the music is just forever evolving, and more as time goes on. Yeah, I mean, I know that in probably another 10 years, most everybody that I ever knew is going to be gone. Okay? And
well, in some ways, I gotta be honest, for me and Mike, for me and Mike, like, a lot of the people who were, like, the most iconic voices of the 80s are gone.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, and they're gone early. I mean, right now, Michael Jackson, guys like Michael Jackson and Prince should be, like, making the kind of money that, like, the Rolling Stones and Bruce Springsteen would make on touring. Okay. Yeah. But they're not, because they're not here.
Right, they're gone. They all left in their 50s, and I'm like, that's just so trippy.
Well, it's like a lot of artists, you know, they go before their time, but...
And then Madonna's charging way too much fucking money. I can't even believe the kind of money Madonna charges for some of this shit. And some of the stuff she's pulling. It's like, wow. I'm like, okay.
And remember, we were talking about how she was canceling all these shows, and that's before the Rona hit last year.
Right. Well, and then she's doing shows she's doing shows on a weeknight that start like 10 o'clock at night at like at the Chicago Theater for like $800 a ticket. And you're like,
no, not happening, folks.
And the funny part is the Chicago Theater. I'd like to see her there. That's a good place to see somebody like that. But it's like
it's a good venue.
No way.
But not at $800,
solid venue,
dude.
Yeah.
To see Madonna for $800, I remember seeing Madonna for $29 at the War Memorial.
Yeah, that day's done. That day's done.
Yeah.
Look. I remember spending
maybe a Madonna cover band.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember being on the floor for a Genesis concert, and it cost me $100-something.
What
that day is done.
What tour did you go for?
Invisible Touch.
Oh yeah, see, that was '87. Yeah, my first concert was the We Can't Dance tour in '92.
Wow.
I was at the World Music Theater in up by Tinley Park.
Yeah. You know, I've never been to that one. I've never been to the World Music.
I have. I went to go see Alice Cooper, and they had 3 bands. They had 3 bands opening for him. Guess what they were? Kingdom Come, Dokken, and Warrant.
I was gonna say, was Striper there?
No, but the 3 of them opened for Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper alone blew the first 3 bands away.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, he
like,
went to
was Rat? Was Rat not available that weekend?
Probably not. Rat was probably not available that weekend, or Kingdom Come, or any of the other ones. There.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, all these concerts getting canceled and shit, man, and conventions. We just lost TFCon Chicago in October.
So, yeah,
well,
it sucks. Well, there's all these.
You know what's scary is? Huh. You know what's even scarier? By the end of the month, what we're losing. Have you seen like all this stuff? I mean, this is the crazy thing. I know we're going weird. Did you see all the crazy stuff we're losing? Like Taco Bell is like chopping from their menu.
Yeah, only thing. Yeah, I saw they're reorganizing their menu, and the only thing they're losing that I used to order was just the Nachos Supreme.
Right. Well, that's the big one.
I like the Nachos Bel Grande, but you can't eat that. Like, you know, you want to have some tacos on the side to go with it and share it with a friend. So the Nachos Bel Grande is too big, and I couldn't sit and eat one of those by myself.
And the beefy Frito burrito is the buck one that's not bad. So that goes bye-bye.
I used to like the Dorito tacos, you know,
those are still there.
Yeah,
those are still there. Those are still really popular.
Oh man, those are great. I love that.
Here's the ones that are going.
Okay.
Grilled steak taco.
Okay.
The 7-layer burrito.
Okay.
The quesarito you're only gonna be able to get on the app if you order ahead.
Okay.
The Nacho Supreme, the beefy Frito burrito, spicy tostada, 3-layer nachos, spicy potato soft taco, cheesy fiesta potatoes, the following loaded grillers, which are the cheesy potato, the beef nacho.
Right.
Apparently they're getting rid of the regular chips and dips, so that means they're not doing like nachos and cheese
anymore.
The
small nacho? Oh, it's
I think
that's bullshit.
I think that's going.
They get rid of small nachos.
It's just the nachos and chips. I get those all the time.
I love those.
And then I guess for breakfast they're getting rid of something called the mini skillet bowl.
Yeah, I don't eat any of the Taco Bell breakfast.
No, I don't do breakfast.
Taco Bell breakfast is not that good.
No, my nephew loves it. He swears by it.
Does he really? Yeah, Taco Bell breakfast is not.
It doesn't sound appealing.
It's right up there. If you had your choice of breakfast between McDonald's and Burger King,
I like a croissant sandwich every now and then, or their French toast sticks are good.
It's funny you say that because I know Wendy's is trying to. Wendy's is trying to get back into breakfast now, and I gotta be honest, I did try some of their breakfast. Not even close.
No.
Although I will say, the best thing that Wendy's has on their menu that nobody else has got is the biscuits and gravy.
Ooh.
They do biscuits and gravy, and I think it's about $2-3.
Oh.
The only other thing that they do on theirs that's good is the oatmeal bar. Other than that, the rest of it, they can have it.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of oatmeal, I knew a place called Kevin's Place in Deerfield, and they used to make the best oatmeal pancakes. I have yet to find another place where they make oatmeal pancakes. God, what I would do for an order of oatmeal pancakes.
What would you do, Ivan?
I'd trade one of my best albums for a plate of oatmeal pancakes.
I don't think that's good enough.
What would you do for a Klondike bar or an
what would you
pancake?
do for
Well, I'm not actually going to go on a street corner and sell my hoo-ha, just to get myself a plate of oatmeal pancakes.
We weren't even, wow. I didn't.
I was.
Oh, yeah, he does.
I know you
Let's go back to our initial starter conversation.
Yeah, seriously.
No, but
I was thinking about it.
As far as breakfast is concerned, yeah, I have to say I do like a lot of Burger King's menu items. I mean, McDonald's for the fast, quick, and dirty, yeah, that's always good. But all right, here's my next question: sit-down breakfast places. What is your favorite sit-down breakfast place?
Are we talking fast food, or are we just talking about in general?
I'm talking sit-down.
Well, Walker Brothers is good for breakfast. I like the Walker Brothers Pancake House.
I like the Walker Brothers with the baked omelet. Did you ever have their baked omelet?
Their stuff makes me sick. It's too greasy.
Well, they do a thing called the baked omelet, and it just comes out and it's big and it's round and it's fluffy.
That's a lot of food. I remember having to order I'd order pancakes, and the pancakes were like 14 inches in diameter. I can't eat all these.
Yeah, they were big Walker Brothers. I remember going to the Walker Brothers up in Highland Park. They used to have one there. The Walker Brothers.
See, if I'm gonna go, if I'm up in, I hate to say it, if I'm up in that neck of the woods, if I'm there, if I'm in that neck of the woods, I'm probably going to Max and Benny's.
Okay, I like Max and Benny's. I'm
probably going to Max and Benny's, more than Max's, so to speak.
Or Max's Deli. They make a good meal at Max's Deli too.
Yeah. But honestly, over, what is it? It's Waukegan and, no, it's not Waukegan and Dempster. Dempster and Harlem. There's a place called Cappy's. Phenomenal breakfast. Phenomenal. Omelets are amazing.
Okay, there's a place called Full Moon on 41, going north on 41, as you're going towards Wisconsin, which Full Moon has an extraordinary, so good. So good.
Listen to you guys. I've got just the place for you. There's a little place called Full Moon Fever.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
So the shtick from Saturday Night Live. Right?
That's fabulous. Fabulous.
I've got just the place for you.
No, it sounds like the Howard Stern thing where it's like, they're going to theme in.
Yeah,
are you saying I sound effeminate?
No, I'm just. You guys are like, I know this little place where they have this little meal that nobody else has it. That's the best meal ever.
No, but I'm telling you though, at Full Moon, man, you ain't lived till you've done some Full Moon on 41, man. It's really good. I've taken Julie there a couple times on the way to court, and on
the way to court, you're going to court together. Let's go.
Oh, that'd be good.
Full Moon before court. That's our morning routine.
Yep.
Hey, Judge.
Maybe that's why he goes to court.
Yeah.
That's why I go to court, to go to Full Moons. I have breakfast.
We have we've run a little long here. We have any other news to cover before we head out?
So apparently, John Hamm is relaunching the Fletch movies.
Why?
You know what? I'm not against it. I'm just surprised that's who it is. I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's like a boatload of Fletch books that have been written for like a long time. I mean, and there's a lot of them. So
Right.
I could never sit through a Fletch movie with Chevy Chase.
No, neither could I.
Really?
Did they make one or two, or?
They made two. The
Okay.
second one wasn't very good.
Yeah.
The second one wasn't very good. The first one was phenomenal, and he's great in it. But, yeah. I'm a little surprised because I'm trying to figure out how John Hamm, why John Hamm of all people. But hey, okay,
Yeah,
sure, why not?
Why not? I say give it a try.
Right,
Franchise, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it can't be any worse than the ones that are out there. But yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna agree to disagree with you about the first one. The second one I will give you that there's a lot in the second one where it's not very good.
I don't know. Maybe it's because Chevy Chase in that particular role. I don't know. I think another actor would have pulled it off better than Chevy.
No way. He's great. Okay, that's a longer conversation. We'll never get done.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I disagree with you on that one.
Well, people say when people bring up Chevy Chase, they don't instantly think of Fletch. They think of National Lampoon.
National Lampoon.
Well, I have to tell you what I really think of when I think of Chevy Chase. That really, really bad, short-lived Fox talk show that he did. That
he had his own Fox. He had a talk show. I think.
Yeah, for a whopping 3 weeks. It was that bad.
Wow.
It was that bad. It was
a shit show.
It was a shit show. I mean, it was really a shit show.
It's funny because he started Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live. You'd think.
Right, but it was so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really...
I almost forgot about that.
Yeah. And then it was funny because they moved to... I think they gave Magic Johnson a talk show. And then it was funny because that didn't go well. And then they gave it to John Sally of all people. But anyway, that Fox didn't have late night. Fox tried to do late night and didn't do a very good job.
When Fox was a fledgling little network.
Right. Well, at one point
they were spitballing new shows.
At one point they were doing At one point Joan Rivers was over there, and then
she filled in for Carson a lot.
Right, but then when she moved, that's where she moved.
She got her own show.
Right, and that was bad timing because
before she landed her show on E.
Yeah.
But didn't she get kicked off of Fox for something? There was like
Well, the other problem is that was right when Arsenio Hall launched his syndicated show.
Right.
So that didn't help any either.
No. Because Arsenio
didn't help
Hall
any
had a
either.
good show. He had a great show.
Yeah, phenomenal show.
Yeah, he did.
I'm still kind of confused how that show died, but well,
there was a lot of internal things happening with that show. It had a lot to do with money not being rendered.
Well, speaking of internal things, you're hearing all these stories about these coworkers who are coming out of the woodwork bashing Ellen.
Yes.
Is that the latest person getting hit for all this stuff?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, it's the fact that she's just like not a nice person.
Well, it's just right there with Steve Harvey, same thing.
Right. I remember Steve Harvey left town, and a lot of people were losing their jobs in this town, and all of a sudden, all of it came out on Steve Harvey, with big time.
Yeah, and then of course, after it became public knowledge and everything, it just kind of tainted his return to television later on, wherever it is he moved to. So you're just like, why do that? Why go ahead and send out an email that you know is going to get put out there and come off with your attitude of the holier than thou? Because remember, the people you meet on the way up are the same people you're going to meet on the way down.
Trying to think if there's anything else of...
In our quick news bullet points before we...
Quick stuff. I thought it was really interesting because Variety had an article about... I had forgotten. It's been so long since anything's really been done with it. But Kirkman signed that big that big deal with Amazon to produce a whole bunch of stuff. And there hadn't really been anything that had come of it, but now they're announcing finally that they're going to produce, and I don't know if I didn't read fully enough, but they're going to do one of his other pieces, which is called Invincible, which ran for a long time in the comics. But it was funny because they were like, oh, his latest new comic book. And I'm like, no, Invincible's been done for like a good 5 years.
Right.
And it had been around for like 20. So I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about new. This isn't new.
No.
But yeah, good for Amazon. Invincible has got some solid material with Kirkman, and with the budget that Amazon will give them, it should be really worthwhile. That depending on whether it's animated or it's real or it's live action, they'll do a solid job with that.
New is Selena's #1 album. That's new, and believe it or not, it's the top of the charts this week.
Okay,
that's new.
I guess.
Speaking of new, Mike, will you tell us how they can get a hold of the new show?
Wait, I wasn't done yet.
Yeah, we're not done yet. We're not wrapping up yet. We still
We're
got some more.
wrapping
We still
up
got
yet?
things to talk about. We got
Yeah, we
stuff.
still got a couple
I
things.
thought we were running long. Okay,
Yeah, we are running long, but we
We
got
are running a
to
little bit long,
finish
but-
up our news segments we want to cover.
Mike,
okay.
what is the?
Hurry.
I haven't caught a lot of this. What is this whole thing about? So, Chris Evans is sending a shield to somebody, and
Yeah, apparently there's this news story about this. What I think is like a 7 or 8 year old kid, and there was a dog got loose and was about to attack his sister. So the kid got in front of the dog and fought it off, and the kid got like dozens of stitches on him trying to fight off this dog to protect his sister. And he obviously got beat up, got hurt real bad. So it turns out when the news broke that he's a big Marvel fan, so Chris Evans stepped up and says, "Hey, we're gonna, you're a great hero act that you did, protect his sister." So,
Right.
Chris Evans is gonna send him a gift, and I think Robert Downey Jr. is sending him a gift.
Well, my understanding is they're sending him an actual Captain America shield.
Nice.
That's what Chris Evans said they were sending.
I guess,
and
and Chris Pratt put out a video today.
But then Downey and Holland said they're going to have something better than what Chris Evans did, which I'm like, no offense, that's a real Captain America shield.
I'd be all about it.
I hope it's real vibranium.
Man.
Who's gonna?
It's not going to be that,
No.
but I mean,
Put it this way: if I was an 8-year-old kid and I was getting that would be the cherry on the cake of my day.
forget that. If I'm an 8-year-old kid, what are the odds that I'm going to, at some point before I turn 14, that at some point I'm playing with friends and I'm going to bop someone over the head with that thing?
Okay.
What are the odds? Pretty good, right?
Yeah, really good. Hey,
Yeah,
my friend gave
here's
pictures with
the
my
article from the Miami Herald. Hero Kid was gifted a shield from Captain America after saving his sister from a dog attack. A 6-year-old Wyoming boy saved his young sister from a dog attack on July 9th, and he got 90 stitches to his face.
Okay.
And he said, this 6-year-old kid had such wisdom. He says, if someone had to die, I thought it should be me, he said.
Okay. Yeah. No. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So, with a fan of superheroes, Nicole Walker, I think his aunt, tagged many Marvel stars, including Chris Evans and Mark Ruffalo, and so all the superhero actors are coming out of the woodwork now because the kid was an amazing act of heroism.
Yeah,
well, yeah,
absolutely. Well, I said,
to his face from a dog attack, protecting his sister. That's there are no words.
So,
yeah.
And when she pisses him off, at some point, he's going to hit her over the head with the shield. There's just no doubt in my mind that's coming. The only other thing I thought was interesting was I saw a stat that was out there about the top 10, as of late or current, I don't know, actually no, audience in the first 4 weeks of a film's debut, the top 10 movie originals from Netflix, I don't know how many of these you have or haven't seen.
Probably not many. That's just me, though.
I can tell you I saw Six Underground, and I definitely saw The Irishman. Other than that, I haven't seen any of these.
The Irishman.
I remember the whole thing about Bird Box. And
right, I remember the whole thing about Bird Box.
I did watch Triple Frontier. That was good.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, with Ben Affleck and Oscar Isaac.
Okay. And I believe Perfect Date, isn't that one of the Adam Sandler movies or something? I could be wrong about that. But, yeah. This is, by the way,
50
this is an example of why it's kind of, so here's the irony. COVID is the answer as to why Netflix is,
finally putting out their stats?
Well, it's not even that. It's, Disney Plus came out with a flurry, and they had all this stuff, and Netflix was very, very worried. The irony is that Netflix has been saying, here's an example where, okay, COVID-19's happening, okay, and nobody's got new stuff to put out, or very little of it. Well, my understanding is Netflix is sitting on like a trove of it. So, yeah, they can keep putting out programming, because they've been sitting on things for months, if not years, to be able to dole out new programming, to get and to entice people. Well, if you're sitting on that much and you're in a situation like this, that's where,
it comes.
Right. Well, and the irony is, at one point that looked like a liability, because at the time it was, okay, well, Disney's starting to shoot all this stuff, they'll be fine. Well, okay, the pandemic hit, and okay, they had to freeze all their production. They don't have a lot out there that's brand new. The only things they've had that have been brand new were a couple of things here or there, and and the only big thing was The Mandalorian and Hamilton. That's it.
Well, also, I think Disney was kind of resting on its laurels because of their huge
They weren't resting on their laurels. They just can't get anything made right now.
Right.
That's why they're resting on their laurels, guys. That's why they're depending on all of their backlog of things and previous programming and just the stuff that they have at their disposal. Because there is no programming.
Like I said to Mike, what I was surprised about was this. It really pretty much is Disney Family Fare, National Geographic,
right?
Marvel, and Star Wars.
Right.
That's about it.
Right.
And the interesting part, I'm sorry, and The Simpsons. But
and
the
Pixar stuff, yeah.
Right.
All the things that have been out there already.
Well, the problem is, though, Ivan, is what I'm surprised by is, and this is the part I'm surprised by is,
right.
With the Disney, keep in mind, you're talking about they have access to the shows that ABC created. They have access to shows that Freeform creates.
Right.
Okay. They have access to all these other things that they're doing. And there are certain shows that I'm kind of surprised. And now, to take it a step further, you have access to shows on FX. You have access to to a whole bunch of stuff that Fox made when they were doing they were doing TV and they were producing TV. I mean, to me, I kind of laugh because it's like, there's a lot more programming that I thought I would find on there in terms of sitcoms. And when I say this, I'm not saying raunchy. I'm even talking about just stuff that would fall into the families. Right.
Yeah, the families.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that stuff isn't there. And it's kind of surprising to me.
Do you think that because it's not profitable, or you don't think that they don't think that people actually want to see that kind of programming now? Do you think it's dated so far as to not be viable?
I don't think so. What do you think, Mike?
Children's programming is so omnipresent, and even with the parents, even with DVD players, excuse me, streaming is, well, there's a lot of options. So Disney needs to find a way to find a niche, find their audience.
Right.
And Star Wars, obviously Star Wars and Marvel, That's what they're going for this year with all the Marvel shows that are going to be directly tied to the MCU, much like how they tried to do with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter and all the stuff that was on ABC.
Yeah, but don't you think that there might be just trying to add too many eggs in one basket and trying to bank on that?
They're looking to see what works.
So it's basically
right. I mean, in fairness, Ivan. But in fairness, Ivan, had COVID not hit, they would have right now a bunch of shows that they are getting ready to put out from Marvel that would be falling into place, and they'd be okay.
Then we would have had to see Black Widow.
But I mean, even like some of the shows that are supposed to be on Marvel, that again, I just think that they waited too long to start producing some of these things and starting to work on these things. I think they should have had more stuff ready to go at the outset. Like, it's funny because, and that's the other thing. Now that I have access to Peacock, there's some of the new content to Peacock is out. So I'm curious to take a look at some of that. That's available that I can look at, and I'm curious to see what some of that.
It's funny
looks
how
like.
I saw a promo. It was one of the Facebook ads about Peacock, and Tracy Morgan, he says it. He's like, "Peacock, baby." He's like, you know what he means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what
Peacock
he's
being like a So, but yeah, I thought like I said, it's I don't know. I mean, everybody. I feel like, and the funny part is, Ivan. Here's the thing: there are, in fairness, there are not a lot right now. Well, I shouldn't say that because when Warner launched, they launched with all new programming with HBO Max. HBO Max has got a bunch of stuff that they launched with a lot of new programming. Peacock has stuff that they launched a few things. I know that they're holding on to the new Saved by the Bell for a little bit and a couple other things that they have pretty much in the can.
Right, I understand that, but the only thing I was concentrating on in this conversation was just on the Disney end of it. I'm sure that other cable companies and other studios and things have a little or a lot to offer, whatever it is that they're doing.
Well, but keep in mind too, Ivan. Yeah. Keep in mind when you're talking about Disney owns more than one streaming service. Well, they also own Hulu. So in some ways, some of the things that I might be bitching and complaining about, the truth is, a lot of it just might be on Hulu.
Okay, so
and that to me might be that, you know what, Hulu might be really the service I'm looking to be on versus Disney Plus. Even though I'll be honest, I'm a Star Wars fan. Yeah, I'm a Marvel fan. I want to see those things. I just don't know that I need to pay every month to watch.
Well, how many days
Disney
you got
Plus.
left in your?
I got about another 4. What is it today? Today's
a few more days.
20th. I got like about probably the 28th.
I say try and catch like the last 2 or 3 episodes of the final season of Clone Wars.
Honestly, what I'm really tempted to do, and I didn't realize it till too late, is all 3 seasons of Runaways is on there from Marvel, which I heard was which was good. Which, by the way, you may want to check out. There's about 30-something episodes of Runaways, and I can't remember what network it was on, but it's available. I think it was on Hulu, or it was on Amazon, one of the two. Yeah. But it's a Marvel product.
I have Hulu. I should go out there. It's on my TV. I'll check that out.
But yeah. Now Ivan, say the magic words. I think.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on.
Wait.
Hold on a second. Now that I think about it. Thoughts on Stargirl, Mike?
Yeah, this episode was awesome. I dug it. I mean, Brainwave's son is, oh man, the last 2 minutes of that episode was like, she's like, when the wife comes downstairs and she sees the cosmic staff and she's like, what the hell is that? And he goes, cut to black. I'm like, oh my God. And then when when Yolanda attacks him in hospital room. No, he kills the lawyer, and his dad gets up from the coma. I'm like, oh my god! Yeah, great. Yeah, good television. I'm loving it. Really good stuff.
I thought the most amusing part to me was I was very surprised that someone of that age in this day and age understood how to work a VHS.
Right? Yeah.
I thought that was the one disconnect moment I had.
His
I'm like,
video logs.
There's no way. There's no way he'd know how to work a VHS. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he sees his dad's brainwave suit and yeah.
Right, and he's got a whole bunch
learning
of tapes.
His powers
like,
and reading his watching his logs. Yeah.
Right, but I'm like sitting there going,
okay, then.
Working the VCR.
Okay.
He might have had to go to his phone and see a YouTube video on how to operate it.
Might have, but I mean, that's the part where I call. If it had been a DVD,
that's what you call bullshit.
If it was a DVD set, I would go. I would.
It's like a DVD, but it's square and rectangular.
Well, I know what it is, and you know how to work it. I know how to work it. No. I'm sorry, I don't buy it like a 17-year-old in today's age.
Right, a high schooler
know what to do.
who's probably never saw what a videotape is. So
right.
Even when video.
I mean, we've all seen the videos about what happens when you show them like a rotary phone.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Where it's like, what the hell do I do with this?
See, I told you he was the Dragon King.
Okay.
Because he was, what's her name's dad?
Yeah.
Shiv.
Well, sooner or later we have to get Solomon Grundy, and this is going to be.
I think it's just like the giant robot. Solomon Grundy is the CG guy who they have to tease, just like how they teased the Doomsday and Krypton. I mean, it's just too expensive for television to show all the time.
Well, or like for example, one of the reasons why on the CW in the Flash, okay.
Grodd,
they can only do a couple episodes of Grodd.
Yeah.
They can't do a full season arc with Grodd. Gee, I wonder why. Too expensive.
It's either that or just have a guy in a monkey suit, and that ain't going to work in 2020.
Right. Yeah.
No.
That's why you only get 1 or 2 episodes a season with Grodd.
Right. Maybe think some shots they could pull it off with like an animatronic. Because I remember, like, the first Transformers movie, they had a huge life-sized mock-up of Bumblebee, which they used for a few quick shots to save money on CGI.
I don't know.
Well, it could happen.
Nah, maybe. But yeah, Supergirl's awesome. I mean, it's the only thing
Supergirl?
actually. No, I mean Stargirl. I'm sorry. Yeah. That one.
No, Supergirl is awesome. That's not what we were talking about.
Right. Stargirl.
No, that's okay. Like, hey, maybe
I'm not the only person that trips up those things.
I was gonna say, I hadn't gotten that far to the part where I was about to say, did you see her at the A and B and B or whatever the hell it is? Or...
Yeah, at the A&W. Yeah.
Yeah, at the ABC or whatever the heck it is.
Georgia Station Line or something.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh boy, it's like I said, it's just one of those moments, boy.
Yeah,
anyway, is it now?
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
Now.
Push the button.
Yes, Mike. Could you tell us where they can find our show, please?
Why, sure. We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe. You know when you get new content. And, of course, our other show with all the crazy, wacky news stories, News of the Squared. Shout out to Scott. Hope you're enjoying your vacation up north.
Yeah.
And, follow us on Facebook. That's where you'll find the stories we talk about, whether it be news of the squared or our normal geek stories. And, of course, you can download this podcast onto all the usual podcasting hosting platforms, Google, Spotify, PodBean, Apple, Anchor, and email us if you'd like with questions and comments or whatnot. We appreciate any of it. We crave attention. SOTRTpodcast@gmail.com. A programming note, this will be our last podcast for the month of July. We'll be back in August. And, of course, we'll talk about what San Diego Comic-Con is coming this weekend. So we'll talk about
is it really?
This weekend would have been San Diego Comic-Con. So we'll talk about what
would have been
talking about. Maybe trailers that'll drop and the San Diego SDCC at home or whatever they're doing. So
yeah, I thought they were doing that for the as a virtual.
It's been quiet though.
Yeah, so maybe waiting to blow their load the same weekend that they were going to reveal on SDCC. We'll see.
Oh baby, I love it when they blow their load.
Oh man, so time for us to blow. So we're out of here. Have a good week, everybody. Take care and stay safe out there.
Bye. Or blow your load.